Right, you join us here today at Cromwell with IncredibleBaits and Incredible Tackle. We got here at 1:50 AM yesterday morning just to beat the queue. Unfortunately, there was a couple of lads in front of us and 10 lads have stayed on from last night, so peg choice was limited. We've had a good walk round. We settled on pegs 5 and 6, so that had the most scope and the most water. What were the pegs we had left? I'm just going to get the rods on that set up now, and we'll pass you on to Dan, who's already set up.
So you find us here at Cromwell. We're fishing on peg 11 and 12. We had to walk around this morning. There's quite a cold northwesterly wind blowing, so we thought we'd try and get off the back of it. Hopefully the fish are holding off the back. So to start off with, I've thrown a chod, just round about 20 wraps, and then a couple of roaming PVA bags. Later on, I'm gonna firm up the spots what I've got in mind, and then hopefully we'll get some bait in there and see what happens.
Well, you join us on a cold evening at Cromwell. Spent the day on the zigs, trying to find a few fish, different depths, different colours. With the pressure being high and the sun high in the sky, it's usually a good bet on the zigs, but not a single touch. So we've opted to find a couple of spots for the night. I found a nice gravel spot about 18 3/4 wraps. I'm going to put 2 on that. One just almost slightly into the fringes of the weed. I'm going to bait that with IncredibleBaits Heist and the trap. Got that in crumb and whole, 16 mils and 14s. A little bit of corn, not much. A few bits of hemp just to keep the fish grubbing about. Good amount of hydro syrup in there just to keep things hydrated and keep the traction coming in. A couple of sweet creams on, my old favourites, the old PB killers as I call them. Yep, couple of them on some little Ronnies using Incredible Tackle components. Yeah, we'll chuck them out, see what the night brings, and hopefully next time I see you, we'll have a fish in the net.
So I'm here on Cromwell. I've gone for peg 5. The reason I've gone for this peg is I've got good access to the middle of the lake. I've not seen any fish showing, so I think the best option was to go for the centre of the lake, as it's meant to have good form. I've put single hook baits out for the time being, margin rods, one on either side and one on 26 wraps. And I've put about 10 big spoms out of boilie and corn so far, and the plan will be to put a bit more out very shortly. I've just seen a fish over my spot at 26 wraps, so the plan is to move all 3 rods onto that spot very shortly after I've put a bit of bait out, and that'll do me for the evening really. We'll see how that gets on. If I've not had anything by the morning, I will probably move to zigs, fishing over the top of my baited spots at various depths, and we'll see how that goes for the start of the morning.
So we're getting late on now into the evening. I've checked the spots which I talked about earlier. I'm fishing all my rods at 18 wraps, around about 5 meters width I would have said, and that's on a 13-foot gravel bar which drops down to 16 foot. I'm using a blowback rig with a 6-inch stiff boom, all with Incredible tackle components. On those I'm using IncredibleBaits PLB pop-ups. So I've put 3 kilo of free bait out. That consists of Heist boilies, crushed and whole, Heist pellet, there's salt mixed in there as well as hemp oil. Now talking about feeding fish, we're going to feed ourselves. So we're going to get some snap on and we'll see you in the morning.
Well, I've only gone and had one. Caught last night, 3 in the morning, off the baited spot, 26 wraps. We didn't weigh it, just under £20, there or thereabouts. And caught it on the P&P wafter in a PVA bag. That was off the baited spot, which was 26 wraps, 15 spoms, with the big spom on top of the trap Heist. Bit of corn, bit of pellet, but yeah, happy with that one. It's now the morning, had a bit of breakfast, coffee, woke up a little bit. I'm going to redo the rods, top the spot back up, probably another 10 spoms, and same tactics as before really. PVA bag over the baited spot, P&P wafter sitting over the top of it, nice and inconspicuous, and we'll see if we can pick something up. I'm hoping that it's gone a bit quiet because the spot's been cleared out. But yeah, that's the plan. I was thinking about going to zigs, but I think, as I say, with the the slip coming up earlier, the fish have obviously been feeding on the spot. So yeah, that's what we're going to go with. We'll see how that goes. What we'll do is I'll now take you through the PVA bag setup that I use, show you how it's done. Right, so as I said before, I'll just take you through my PVA bag setup. On this lake, I'm not actually dropping off the lead. The weed's not too bad. I don't believe in dropping off the lead all the time if it's not necessary. So we're just going for the straightforward inline lead, and I'll show you how we do it. Going for the P&P wafter. I've already got the rig tied up and attached to the lead section. Just get the boilie stop on. That's that, ready to go. Just take one of the bags and open. Now the mix I'm using is a bit of trap pellet, a bit of our Heist pellet, they're both in the 2mm and 6mm, and a bit of trap stick mix. Firstly, put a bit of the mix in the bottom for the bait and the hook to sit on, and then drop that in. Just tuck him so the hook point's clear into the bottom of the bag, and then drop the lead on top of that. And then take a couple of scoops full of the mix, shaking it down, keeping the lead central to allow the mix to get either side of it. Just tamper it down either side, making sure you're keeping the bag as compact as you can get it. Moving the lead slightly from side to side just to compress the mix on the side. And as you start to build this up in layers, start to feel it firming up at the bottom. Another scoop in. There's also a little bit of rock salt in with the mix, just for a little bit of added attraction. Again, compressing it down. Get one more in there. So once compacted it down, compressed it either side, just try and shuffle it down with your fingers, just to keep as firm as possible. And then, probably should have done this first and got the tape ready, but as you spin it round, you get the tape. Take about 8 inches, and then I just double it over, just to give it a bit more strength. A little bit trickier in the wind. Then I just wrap it around the top a couple of times, grab the tag ends, and then just a typical granny knot through once. Same again, another granny knot, twice, and that is it as far as the tape's concerned. Cut off the tag ends, and that is pretty much ready to go. Now, just to tidy it up a little bit, what I like to do is I actually cut down the edge of the PVA tape there, and I leave about 10mm gap, little flap there, and then I cut round the rest. Okay. And then with this tag end, I actually then just wrap that round the PVA tape and round the rest of the tag end, and then just lick that tag end then, just to finish it all off. It's not necessary really, but just personal preference. Just tidies it all off, keeps it rock solid, and then all we've got left to do is a little bit of compression on the corners. So you can see the boilie there, after, and tag ends as flat as you can. Like them, and stick. And there we have it. Unfortunately you can't feel it yourself, but it's basically rock solid and very capable of a good 30 wraps.
Hi, you with us on us last night. The wind switched today from northerly to southerly. Our initial thoughts why we came on this peg was to get off the back of the wind, because it was quite a cool wind, but then directly opposite us in the bottom corner there were a few fish caught on the wind last night, so hopefully with this change of wind today, hopefully we'll get some on our spots. So I've put my 2 left rods out back on the spots in the 13 foot and 16 foot gravel and silt, topped those up with about 3 to 4 kilos. Then I've brought my right hand rod in and I've put that in a margin spot. I've thrown a handful of trap boilies scattered around there. So hopefully tonight, fingers crossed, we might have a bite. If not, we'll see you in the morning.
You joined me on a cold start to a Tuesday morning. nothing to report for the night, very slow, not even a single single bleep to show for my efforts. Tried yesterday a lot of adversity yesterday with the bad weather. Tried zigs all day, chopping and changing my depths and my colours, didn't work. Back onto the bottom again, really struggled with, we had a crosswind, very powerful crosswind, was taking me off my spot. Really struggled to find my spots. We found that adding a wrap to my spot, obviously accounting for the bow in the line from the wind, that was what we needed. Found the clear spots again. Good drops after quite a few casts, getting, you know, being happy with what the spots I had and the rigs I was using. Like I said, put a bit more bait out. Felt quietly confident because the weather did swing in quite nicely. Temperature dropped a little bit, the pressure dropped quite considerably, but didn't really help much things. Going forward for next time, I think if I was to change something, I would have maybe found not such a blatant clear spot, maybe gone for a silt spot or maybe clay, just so maybe it isn't quite so visible at the fish. Maybe the spot I found was a bit too clear and a bit avoided. Saying that, I still think I fished effectively. My rigs were good, baiting was good, so nothing to, you know, make me think I didn't perform well. It's just unfortunately the fish didn't come on me. Some lessons learned as always for next time. Enjoyed myself as always, which I suppose is the most important thing of why we go fishing. Yeah, look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Last morning we're going home today. Unfortunately, no fish to report. I think we got it wrong to start off with, getting on the back of the wind, because the fish seem to have been on the wind, and then from then the weather's been a bit changeable. Wind's not really made its mind up. It's gone from northwesterly to southerly to southwesterly and back to northwesterly now. We've had a few fish showing in front of us this morning, so if we'd have been staying on a bit longer, I'd have been probably a lot more confident. So if we wound the clock back 48 hours, we'd have tried to get a peg on the wind, knowing what we know now, but everything's good in hindsight, isn't it? So I would have probably switched to zigs and been a bit more active, probably a bit less bait but a bit more often, rather than just putting sort of single beds down at a time. Well, it's getting on for 8 o'clock now and we've got to be off for 9, so we're going to have to pack up. We'll see you on the next one. Hopefully we can bag one then.
Okay, so all packed up. Unfortunately, didn't have anything else. It's now 9 in the morning, back at the car park. The rain stayed away, which is a positive. It said it was going to rain all yesterday and today. We only had a little bit really, so all packed up dry. It's a good point. The fish seemed to be showing a little bit further out. There wasn't many shows, but from what did show, they were a little bit further out and more onto the other side of the lake. If I'd known what I know now, I'd probably would have went for a bay area. There's a couple of fish come out from the bays, but no, all in all, I'm happy I managed to get one. The wind swapped over last night, so I don't know if that had a part to play on why I never got another fish. But so, all in all, happy I managed to get one, and I'll see you in the next time.